So if we can all just speak to the laptop.
Yeah.
That's how this,
speak up.
that's how this meeting will be conducted. So, all right, I'm going to call to order this special meeting of the Monroe County Solid Waste Management District Citizens Advisory Committee. Today is Tuesday, August 9th, 2022, and we are square at 16 p.m. So will the secretary please call roll?
Here.
Greenberg. Timeline here. Lucas.
Here.
Manley. Here. Schaefer.
Here.
White.
Here.
Linnea.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum. Thank you for that. Because this is a special meeting, we are going to go to our one item of business, which is the 2023 district proposed budget review. I have the agenda up just for reference. I can also put up any additional information if there's interest. I did want to start by asking Tom if you have any particular information that you want to present or touch on for the contents.
Yeah, I guess. And I think at the board meeting last month, the budget was presented with an 8% wage increase. It was suggested by a board member that looking at the most current month that was available at that time on the CPI index, that was, I think, at 9.3%, that we consider 8.5. I guess let me back up a little bit. And so I was able to do that. Here's how we were able to do that. You may recall if you were in attendance or watched the last board meeting, the original, we have two excise tax lines, vehicle excise tax and commercial vehicle excise tax. The original predictions the DLGS gave us for those were much higher than what they came back with when we had our meeting with them the morning of the board meeting. So I had to rework the budget with that. There's about a $40,000 difference, decrease in that line. So, but in doing that, I also discovered that the original proposals provided to the board counted the wages for our relief site operators twice, which took up, actually made up a little over half of that difference. And then what also has happened in the meantime is that our health insurance renewal came back at 6.2%. We had 13% estimated in that original budget because that's in the 12 to 13% range is what we've been experiencing the past few years. So we were able to make up that deficit in the by the excise tax lines, and also increase the wage increase from 8 to 8.5%. And then additionally in there, our landfill and compliance director, and our landfill compliance assistant are getting larger increases to bring their wages more in line with comparable positions at the city and county levels of government. So we went through the gateway wage data for the city and the county, and identified comparable positions and what those wages were, and put them about in the middle of what we found. So, and then the other thing that helps with getting some of these cost increase done, if anybody's not heard, Scott Morgan will not be returning to the district. He's elected to retire, due to health reasons. So that's given us an opportunity to look at some reorganization. We've a plan in place, and this budget is based on not having an assistant operations director position. But it also means we're going to fill the truck driver position that we've had vacant for a couple of years. And then there's also the two new positions in line. We've previously discussed a second outreach position at the last executive committee meeting. We decided it would be better to refer that as a waste reduction specialist. position because it's what I think what the CEC has talked about with that position, what the executive committee has talked about with that position is obvious education and outreach, because that's a big component of about everything we're trying to do in the 5-year plan. But we want this position to focus more on the 5-year plan, those goals and objectives, and moving us toward those. So it was doing more than just education and outreach. And also a new labor position that'll split time between the landfill and compliance departments and the household hazardous waste department. So, and again, I said the health insurance came in much lower than we were anticipating. And the budget is based on our current enrollment, the 2 new employees, and in essence, everybody renewing at their existing plan. The 2 new employees are budgeted for a family plan because we don't know what we're going to get. But in addition to that, also working with our benefit administrator, and we're going to be able to offer a second coverage option to employees this year, and that's going to be an option that includes a health savings account. So if employees choose to go the health savings account route, that's a substantial savings to them and to the district, at least on the premium side of that. I don't know how familiar people are with health savings accounts, but those plans tend to have a little more out-of-pocket upfront expense on them. The deductibles and out-of-pocket maxes tend to be lower, but in essence, until you meet your deductible, you're paying 100% of most of your medical care. But it is a popular option that's out there now, so we're going to offer that. Due to the savings that provides to the district, what's being proposed is that the employees that go the health savings account route, the district will fund that health savings account with an initial $1,000 for people on the employee only plan and $2,000 for people on the 3 family plans. The difference being because the deductible and out-of-pocket costs are double on the family plans versus the single plan. And even if we do that and everybody goes the health savings account route, it's still cheaper than everybody renewing at our existing policy. So even with the funding the district's doing. So and then not really related to the budget proposal, but another just tidbit that's out there related to health insurance, working with our benefit administrator, our current renewal date for health insurance is October the 1st, which is just, particularly when we've been doing 12 and 13% increases, that is just a horrendous time to do that, because it's not in our budget, it's not in the employee's budget, and their payroll deduction increases on October the 1st. So working with the administrator to see what we can do to get back on a January 1st renewal date. What they've advised is there is no 3-month policy, there is no 15-month policy. We just go through this current renewal, and then sometime in November, they'll be able to give us new rate quotes for a policy effective January 1. That in all likelihood will be slightly higher than what we're looking at right now, because unfortunately those costs do nothing but go up. But if it's something that's financially feasible for the district to do, we could start a new policy effective January 1 and basically cancel our existing policy, which would then allow the health insurance renewal to align with the district's fiscal year. Also align with when employee raises would take effect if we're giving raises to help offset that. So, yeah. And sorry, let me pull up another sheet here.
One quick note in the meantime, the meeting is scheduled for 30 minutes. I do have an obligation at that end. I believe Lily does
Okay.
as well. Is that still the case? Okay, so there is
I'll
still
hurry.
sufficient membership that the meeting could continue afterwards if you so choose to continue to discuss after our departure, but there would need to be somebody to facilitate.
I will hurry because you guys have to discuss your written comments and agree on those.
It's important to have all the information
Yeah.
presented.
I mean, that's the personnel services is where the bulk of the changes occur. There are, and did everybody watch or go through the initial budget presentation that was given to the board last month? So you know about our liability line decreased, and we've taken a lot of money out because it was related to rebranding and things that are anticipated being done this year. So so in addition to all that stuff from previously, with the changes in the excise tax and the 8.5% increase, there was only 2 or 3 other lines that changed from that July presentation. Find those real fast and I will highlight those for you.
While you're looking at that, this budget that is being proposed is what ultimately goes in front of the county council for approval, yes or no?
If our board approves it. I suppose if our board,
If our board.
it's
approves.
never happened, and if our board didn't approve it, I guess that doesn't necessarily prevent me from going and presenting that to the county council. Never been in that position, and it's just, I got to think it's a lot more comfortable to go up there and say, our board has reviewed and approved this. So our machinery and equipment repair and maintenance line decreased $750 from the July presentation. Our recycling fees, we came down $500. The thing to keep in mind with recycling, hauling costs, those, the current agreement that those are all under, the initial term of that expires May 1st. And with the second Rumpke facility planned to open this spring, odds are we will not allow that to renew and put all of those things out for bid or proposal over the winter, which will obviously factor into what ultimately winds up getting expended out of those lines. You obviously hope that and assume that with competition that things will come in better. The recycling one, I'm fairly confident based on the current markets that if those hold through the end of the year, that some of those materials will get money back on. Cardboard in particular is one that's doing really good right now, and just kind of sucks that we're stuck in an agreement that forces us to pay for that, but that's where we are. So so those were the other, I guess, the other 2 lines that got changed with the excise tax and 8.5% increase being factored in. There you go.
I will just note before we discuss, the nature of the meeting is to satisfy the statute, Indiana Code 1321-3-11G.2. It says the CAC is required to submit written comments concerning the proposed budget at a public hearing that is held to review the proposed budget. So really, what we want to come away with before the scheduled end time is written comments to be able to submit to the board. Again, the meeting can go beyond the scheduled end time if you so choose and have someone to facilitate, but that's kind of the nature of the discussion and what we need to achieve during the meeting. So with that, I would like to just open it up to the discussion.
Our letter last year, we sent to the board of directors, we commended the district and the board for having a $15 minimum hourly wage. And I think we should commend this year for committing to an 8.5% increase in wages all aboard. So
I agree. Yeah, quite a handsome
Even though it's
increase.
inflationary.
That's what it's based on. But
I guess we should say based on CPI.
8.5% wage increase based on CPI. Is that how you want to raise it?
Yeah. I guess we should say what it was based on. So
I think it would be good to also comment or commend the work it takes to investigate better insurance options that serve both the district and employees in more flexible and cost-saving ways.
as far as the CAC's line item in the budget, we're under the training and education line item, right?
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's well, the CAC went with it's basically the same request as last year, and that is $1,000 toward training and education and $500 in travel to help offset expenses, depending on where that, training may take place.
Okay. I guess just a note to say thank you for continuing to fund the training and travel expenses for our furthering education. Because this year we're having the Solid Waste Management Association meeting at Fort Benjamin Harrison,
Right.
correct? Okay. So I imagine some of us will
I
go.
assume that will be on the August agenda. I sent that to you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, gosh, those are all very good remarks. Yeah, have the same sentiments. I also wanted to express strong support for the second, or what was in the proposal described as the second outreach position slash updated to the waste reduction specialist. It's something that I'm very excited to see added. I think has a lot of potential and will move the goals and objectives forward that we work to compile. Your thoughts on budget contents? All right. Also, thank you to Tom for putting all of this together.
Sorry, I forgot to remind you to
No,
put it
that's-
on the agenda for the last meeting.
That's okay. I'm glad that we are able to still have the conversation. And what I didn't see is the budget, the final balance. Is that, where is that
The
listed?
bottom line.
Yeah, I was looking through both the packet and the
The
presentation.
third page of that, it's like a $63 surplus.
There it is. Okay. Perfect. Also good work on a very balanced budget.
I try, and then they all tell me about all the reserves that we have, and we can do a deficit budget. And we can also do additional appropriations.
Right. And I do think also, I just wanted to really remark about the second insurance option. I think that is really nice to have. I have had HSAs in the past, and it's nice to be able to choose between two options. And I have enjoyed an HSA.
I was surprised that with as few, eligible people that we have, that IU Health would allow us to do that.
Well, when they changed HSAs where you couldn't do hardly anything with them unless it's screw it.
Well, and it's, again, it's a choice that everybody's gonna have to make for themselves,
Yeah.
and obviously,
They're not right for everybody.
yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, if you have lots of medical needs, it may make sense. It limits your out-of-pocket cost. And, you know, somebody like me that has a 14 and a 12-year-old, the next emergency room visit is just around the corner.
Really?
Well, first, are there any further remarks on the budget or I guess the letter to submit to the board? All right, in that case, I have the framework of a letter put together, which we can fill in now in the next scheduled 10 minutes if you want to have one final copy that we can agree upon, or I can compile the information following the meeting and send it out later this evening for review.
You're here, go for
I
it.
think, yeah, since we have the time, what I'll do then is I'm going to share it.
Did I speak loudly?
All right. So we'll do that and I'll put in. So Andrew. So that, well, first of all, can you read it? Oh, that's B, let's see. There. Okay,
If you want, you could back at CPI-U. It's an urban wage earner index. That is the full acronym for it.
okay. See. Does that reflect your sentiment, Lily?
I
Yes,
would
please.
specify health insurance because we have a
Sure.
number of different insurance.
Yes.
policies.
Uh-huh. You had, let's see.
Okay, we haven't looked at other liability and work comp and auto insurance options, but those don't really impact the employees as directly. Trying to go too fast.
Yeah,
Pressure's on.
everything is a bit more exciting when everyone's watching you do it in real time.
Looking over your shoulder.
Pressure's
That's
on.
true.
Pressure's on.
Or just staring at me in the face.
And Cats isn't broadcasting. it, so.
That's true.
Where are they?
Okay, so
Yeah, we're county council meeting. I'm sure that took precedence over us.
Good.
For furthering our bodies education on solid waste and recycling. Improving our bodies, solid waste and recycling education.
Interesting concept, recycling education. I wish I could do 5th grade again.
Would also suggest you update the date from July 11th.
Oh, August, yes. Thank you. Okay. Yes, appreciation. Appreciation.
First, he would maybe make a better statement on that. 8.5 cents employee wage increase, that's a little verb in there, even though it is, could be considered inflationary.
I do feel it's.
Since we have so much
sufficient.
stuff going on, that becomes inflation. You know, you give your McDonald's employees $15 an hour, you're not gonna get $1.35 hamburgers anymore.
And I will say, I mean, that is one, the wage increase is one that I'm curious of the county council's reaction.
So I mean, you know, if we put that in there, that's gonna know that we recognize it.
Oh, and that's, I mean, that's what the CPI is a measure of inflation.
Okay,
So
Yeah, I think that was what that.
I wasn't sure what CPI was.
Consumer price index. I assume.
Further
Yes.
thoughts on the composition?
What's the U for that?
Urban.
there's a number of different indexes. The one we use to calculate our wage increases is an urban wage earner index. And that's hyphenated CPIU.
Is it considered urban? Pretty bucolic in my mind.
Well, it's probably somewhere between rural and urban.
Okay,
But that is, we
but you,
we
that's
use the same
the other
index.
county issues consider. it
That
urban.
might, I believe, my understanding is that's the one that the county
Okay.
uses. And that is the index that we have always used in my time as chair.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, a quick question. When you increased $15, am I remembering that there was a discussion about a planned second, like ultimate goal, like with the goal of eventually getting to, or was it 15?
No, 15 was the goal. And of
Okay.
course, we started that before the pandemic and before
Okay,
everything
I
went
was trying to
haywire,
remember
and
what the process was.
15 that basically became the norm.
Yeah. Okay.
And, and I will say, with the 8.5% increase, those employees making 15 an hour now go to like 16.20. So it is a substantial increase. Yeah.
We are at the end of our scheduled meeting time. Is there a desire to extend among those who have the time to? Or shall we take a voice vote on approving this letter as it's composed?
I second that.
All right, so yes, so moved, seconded. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. All right, that passes unanimously. I will submit this letter to the board via email this evening following my next meeting. And
It looks like it could change the travel expenses to expresses.
I feel like we approve it as it is.
Yeah, too late.
Dwelling expenses.
I think Scrivener's errors are allowed to be corrected.
While he's doing that, what are we doing with cardboard, plastic
Right.
bags? Dirty to recycle?
Sorry, Paul, I'm going to have to interject there.
It's done, that's not a problem that we have.
Okay.
Or, you know, I'm not gonna say we have 0% contamination, but, you know, we have never been notified by Republic of a load having to be rejected and sent for disposal. And since we pay them more per ton for waste than we do recycling, I think they would tell us if they sent something to a landfill.
I do want to make one quick announcement, just to make everyone aware while we're all here, that Rhonda Cox has submitted her letter of resignation on August 1st. She's no longer a member of the Stacy. I want to make you aware. That is the only other item that I wanted to mention during the meeting. If there is no objection, this meeting will adjourn. And seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you all
Adjourned.
very much.